right. So it always seems as though I am just a couple steps behind, whether it just be a few days or a few months or whatever it may be. Starting off with the Razer Viper Ultimate, my very first video. Was it my very first video? Or was it the Glorious Mouse? Anyways, it was one of my first videos, but at the time of recording that and releasing that video, the Razer Viper V2 Pro was leaked and was talked about during that time. The HyperX Pulsefire Haste, that's the right name. By the time I bought the mouse, they already announced a second version of it, the Endgame Gear XM1R. I just released a video of it. However, when I bought the mouse, the XM2WE was already released, however out of stock, but nonetheless it was already out on the market. And now here we are with the Lamzu Atlantis Mini. I've had this mouse for about 2 weeks. However, when I finally received it in hand, it was like 2 days prior or 3 days prior of me receiving it, they released the 4K version of the mouse. So fun of me being behind on everything. But anyways, I have the mouse. I'm gonna do my first impressions on it. Like I said, 2 weeks of usage, nothing super crazy, but I do want to get a video out for this. But quick little note here before we start, I do want to say, as you can see, I do have a custom paint job on this. So the mouse is glossy because of the paint that was used. So I can't speak anything on the coating of the mouse because I believe they just have a regular coating like this. It's not going to feel glossy or anything, so I can't really speak on that. But moving on, as always, starting off with the bad. So for the 2 weeks of usage, or roughly like 1.5 since I have been using this mouse and the HSK over there, one occurring problem that I've been having is my scroll wheel jumping, or the mouse making me jump. So in games like Valorant and CSGO, Call of Duty, whatever, my scroll wheel I typically bind to jump. So like up scroll wheel, I have set to bind for jumping. That's how I play. However, I've been having a problem on my glass mouse pad, not this one. On my glass mouse pad, the Razer Atlantis, I've been using for the past month. So when I play, going over like this, movements like these, where I'm putting the mouse back down onto the mouse pad and hitting it on there, it would make me jump in game. I'm not too sure if it's because I am using a glass pad when doing that it's making it just bounce from the scroll wheel just moving up or something, or if it's a problem internally with the mouse. Maybe it's actuating and I don't see it, or maybe it's just like something's wrong with the firmware. Since I have not updated the mouse at all, if there is a firmware update, I just got the mouse and pretty much started playing with it. It has happened a couple times with this mouse pad, this cloth mouse pad. However, not as many times as with a glass mouse pad. But that so far is my only actual issue that I've had with my model. Moving on, this is more of a preference thing for me. I really like grippy scroll wheels. This one not so grippy due to, I assume, the design that's on the scroll wheel, which if we look here, it's like a infinity symbol, almost like waves. Due to that design, it doesn't feel super grippy. However, the material used is fine. I think the design just needs to change. That is a preference thing. For most people, it'll probably be okay. Now, on a side note, I haven't had this issue, but for a different mouse reviewer that I watch from time to time, Upgrade Lemonade, I'm not too sure if it was on the normal size Lamzu or the Lamzu Mini, but they did have a problem where the post inside right here in the middle of the bottom skate on their model, it was protruding out a bit, and the bottom skate here wasn't sitting completely flat, and like it was an actual problem where like if he sat the mouse down on a flat surface, you could actually like wiggle it. It wasn't like a super big problem, but it shouldn't even be a problem to begin with. So that is on Lamzu, or maybe it's just on that one particular model, or maybe just a few that made it out into the wild. Me personally, I haven't had an issue on mine, I just wanted to note that there in case if you are buying the normal size or even the mini. I'll leave a link to his video on it, and also a note right here or somewhere on the screen stating which mouse he did the review on, whether it be the normal size or the mini. Now with all the problems out of the way, now onto the good stuff is the shape. It's really good and comfortable for a claw shape, and it's alright for palm if you have a small enough hand. For me, I have tiny hands. This shouldn't be a surprise at this point. I can palm pretty much like any tiny mouse. However, because it is ambidextrous, this hump right here, it makes it a little bit uncomfortable on like this right side of my hand. But again, it's meant for claw, not really palm. The clicks are very good. They're not super crispy. The scroll wheel itself is slightly loose, not to my liking. It's more, again, personal stuff. Slightly loose, but it's not a cheap feeling like the HyperX here, the Pulsefire Haste. This scroll wheel I very much dislike. It feels like a very cheap office mouse. However, this scroll wheel is loose, just not as loose. So for those that do like very fast moving scroll wheels but want to be able to control it, definitely good. For me, not so good. I really like big chunky steps that feel like you need to put actual force onto it, like this. G-Wolves HSK is my favorite scroll wheel so far out of any mouse, something like that where you do need to put a bit more force. If you guys don't know me already, I do like the height on scroll wheels as well. I like very tall standing scroll wheels. I know I said that HSK is my favorite scroll wheel in terms of the feeling. Obviously it's not my favorite in terms of height. The height on here is pretty decent, nothing like super crazy in height. It sticks out a good amount, so I'm not going to be accidentally running my finger over or anything like that. I can definitely feel it pretty much blocking my fingers. So for me, that gets points. And since we were looking at the side profile here anyways, onto the side buttons, definitely really good and clicky. Due to the design of them, they do stick out a decent amount. It definitely gets in the way. You can definitely feel it. It's not going to be accidentally pressed in any way from your thumb just sliding over. Like it's not a accidental misclick in any sort. You have to like really purposely like think about it. Definitely a great design. I also really like this gap. It's a decently sized gap. The side buttons aren't placed together super close like most mice do, so you could definitely feel that spacing as well if your thumb is right up against it. So again, you aren't going to accidentally click on either or because of these little details here of the spacing as well as the design of the side buttons. Now moving on to the undercarriage here. The skates themselves are actually pretty decent for stock skates. They glide pretty well. That was a bit forceful on my end of pushing that, but they're actually really good skate. Pretty good stock skates. I'm not too sure if they come with the second pair. I haven't looked inside the box in a while, but I think most people will be happy with these skates. They are not fast, but they do have decent glide and they are very controlled as well. I don't think these are a necessary thing to replace for the mouse. I think pretty much everyone who gets this mouse will be fine with just the stock skates, unless if you want glass skates or something like that along those lines. Something I do want to note as we come here to an end, the packaging is actually really nice as well, so I might as well just get the box here. But very nice packaging. This comes off. It's definitely a bit overkill for a mouse, and considering how premium this package is for a $90 mouse, it's definitely quite an experience. So it comes with grip tape and I believe skates. I might be wrong on that, if those are dot skates of their own. Not too sure. I haven't really looked into it, haven't really used it, don't plan on using it. And then moving on, this is where the mouse and cables would be. Definitely really great packaging, really nice packaging, especially for, again, a $90 mouse. Even Razer, I don't remember the packaging of Razer's Viper Ultimate. That was $150. It didn't have anything like this. But anyways, coming here to an end, do I think this mouse is worth it? It is $90. I definitely do think it is very much worth it. Again, $90. However, I do want to say, even though I do recommend this mouse even as it is, there is the 4K version. As I said in the beginning, it is only $10 more and it has upgraded internals. I'm not too sure if they did a full overhaul. I know it has a better sensor. I'm not too sure if they did a full overhaul with like better clicks and everything, but even then $10 for 4K. If you are someone who wants that, that's definitely worth it. But if you see no benefit from 4K, then obviously just go with this. Save the $10, maybe buy some skates. But either way, the 4K version or even this normal version, definitely worth it. Highly recommend. Definitely a top 4 mouse for me. I know top 4 sounds weird. However, I don't have that many mice, so it makes more sense to say 4 than top 3 or top 5. But anyways, hopefully this video somewhat helps you with getting a understanding of the Lamzu Atlantis Mini and helps you with your next purchase or upcoming purchase of this mouse. But anyways, see you guys later.